folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 19th of August, 2014. You know, this whole thing in Ferguson, man, I'm telling you, it's, I don't mean to laugh because it is tragic, but the cause of the riots and all of that, let me say this. One side says, oh, a white cop shot a black kid. That's one side. The other side is the black kid rushed and bum rushed and wanted to assault the officer, and the officer had to take care of business the way that the officer had to take care of business. And the argument on part of that would be, well, the officer didn't have to shoot the kid, did he? Well, if your life is in danger or potentially in danger, you will do whatever it is you need to do. And this cop, as they are trained, was in the moment thinking that his life was in danger and believed beyond a shadow of a doubt, really, that his life was in danger because he had struggled with him. 12 witnesses have come out already and said, yes, this is what the kid did. Rushed him, tried to tackle him, all this, that, and the other thing. And things happened before that, of course. But the facts are facts. So let's do this. First of all, put the race card away, you dumbasses. Secondly, let's take a look at the information provided by the witnesses. Third, let's take a look at the incident itself. And fourth, let's look at why the rioters and why the looters and why these protesters are out there doing what they do. Well, I'm not going to go through all those on this particular podcast, but I will say this. It's you that has to take a look at this information. I already have my view of it. From the information that I have received, I have seen and have put together myself in my own mind from my own perspective, is the fact that this cop had to do what he had to do, and it was tragic. I'm not on the cop's side. I think something else should have been done, but there was a struggle of some sort prior to this incident, so obviously there was some emotion in that. But I don't think a lot of people are looking at the facts, and I don't think they really want to look at the facts. I don't think anybody wants to look at the facts. I think that on the surface, the emotional, visceral reaction is black on white. That's number one. We are still a racist country. You can see it in everything. I don't care what it is. You see it everywhere. And we have to stop that bull crap right now. Plus, add to all of that political correctness. We need to get rid of that too. Because it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. Now, a lot of people would say, well, geez, you must be on the side of the cops. No, I'm not. Well, you must be on the side of the protesters. No, I'm not. I'm looking at this from an outsider's point of view, realizing that the situation was tragic. The result of the struggles and all of that was tragic. But I think what is dumber in this whole situation is the protesters, and then the fact that you have people like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton there doing what they do, race-baiting morons as they are. Then you have outsiders from California, elsewhere, coming to Missouri to help the protesters because it's an emotional, visceral reaction to whatever. And then you have the new Black Panther Party with this moron named Shabazz leading the group. It is a whole buffet of bullcrap is what it is. It has nothing to do with logic, has nothing to do with facts, has nothing to do with reason, has nothing to do with identifying the problem that caused all of this. Has nothing to do with that. Okay? And I just simply want to say, people have got to get their heads out of their lower orifice of their body and look at this situation and decide for themselves. And if it comes out, I can almost bet you a penny that when all of this information comes out, that it was that this Michael Brown rushed the cop and these 12 witnesses are backed up by facts, I can bet you a penny the protesters are still going to be there. The people are still going to riot. The people are still going to do what they do. But I also saw people in videos that were telling others, now this is a relatively middle-class black neighborhood, and other people were saying, hey, get back. We don't want this. We don't want the problems. We don't want, get back on the sidewalk, because the police were there. I've got stuff up on my Facebook page, that videos from news from that area showing tear gas being, shot to people and all this, that, and the other thing. And it is what it is. It's just chaotic. It is just, people have to understand that it is an emotional, visceral reaction to what they would consider a white on black situation, but then the chaos increases by the stupidity of people in their own minds to try and escalate this thing into a much bigger problem, which it has become. Okay? So this is what it is. Okay? This is what it is. Now, let me go to this side of the arguments. If it is found that the spin of the state-run media is greater than the logic and the evidence behind the situation, if the spin of the state-run media is greater than the situation itself, and people begin to believe the propaganda over the reality, then we've got a problem. It is already said that in Ferguson, Missouri, there's already martial law. Now, is there? I want people from Ferguson, Missouri to email me. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. And I want folks to tell me exactly what's going on there. You can go to my Facebook page, The Wayne S. Pierce Show on Facebook, The Wayne S. Pierce Show. Or, better yet, make it easier for you, Free America Radio on Facebook. Go there and post your links, your stories, what's happening in your area in Ferguson, Missouri. Free America Radio on Facebook. That's the best place to put it. But the facts are the facts, folks. And if the facts are there, and if the facts are staring you in the face, and they're there, and they are backed up again by 12 witnesses, 15 witnesses, whatever it was, I think it was 12, last report, and all these other things showing the aggressor being the one, being Michael Brown, and the cop defending himself. But let me go here again, if the spin of the state-run media is more than the evidence provided, then we have a big, 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 big problem. Okay? We have a huge problem in this country when it comes to race, and it has to stop. It has to stop now. I've got friends from every race, creed, and religion that you can think of. And let me tell you something. We can sit down, we can debate, we can discuss, hey, but we're still going to walk away shaking hands and being friends. And the facts are the facts. There is no way around that. I want anyone to disprove me. I want anyone to tell me I'm wrong. well, I got facts too and you got facts. I had someone tell me that once. Well, I got facts too. Really? Show me. Well, yeah, that's what I thought. When you have an affinity to the truth, to the facts, there is no way around, and no spin can be inserted into any narrative that can disprove those facts. In other words, if the facts are there, there's nothing that's going to change that. Nothing at all. But I also look at situations with a very keen eye for facts and truth. So I look not only at what the spin of the state-run media is, but I'm all and the propaganda in the local areas from the local news stations, but I'm also looking at right at the facts, right at the truth. Because that's what we have to get to, right? Take a little break. I'll be right back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 19th of August, 2014. I shall return in a moment. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Ah, damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
The world as we know it is changing. We must speak out against the tyranny in our country. Stand up. Speak out. Get involved. Live Truth Radio. The reality underneath the honesty. LiveTruthRadio.com.
Samo Radio, playing music for free so you can listen longer. Samo.
It's the 5 o'clock drive with Samo.
Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Attention, the show is about to begin.
Hey, welcome back, folks. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 19th of August, 2014. How are you? Are you doing good? You happening? It's Tuesday. It's it's one of those days, folks. Let me get right into it. I want to tell you right now my feelings, my personal feelings about this whole situation going on. That literally is only part and parcel of a huge, of a bigger picture. A huge, I don't know what word to put there. I mean, it's a massive amount of people, and this happens everywhere in the U.S., where visceral reactions from an emotional stimuli create absolute chaos. Okay? Prime example, Ferguson, Missouri. We have a bunch of people who I would say, personally, I think are, from what I've seen on the videos, very, well, let's just say very concerned about their neighborhood when the militarized law enforcement show up. And they have to do what they have to do, the citizens. But we also have a group in that bigger group of people that seem to think that they're going to push the race card to the extreme and create bigger chaos. Well, I don't know what to say. I myself personally, if you heard the first segment, people just need to stop. We're all in this larger group called humanity. No matter what color we are, no matter what religion we are, no matter what political affiliation we have, we're all human beings trying to survive. It just so happens that there's a group of human beings in this group called humanity that don't want you to survive, and we have to find out how to protect ourselves, how to survive, prepare ourselves for the inevitable if things get way out of hand. Much worse than what it is happening now in Ferguson, Missouri. But I think the bigger picture, or a part of that bigger picture, is the fact that the propaganda machine of the state-run media is pushing the race card, is pushing not the truth, not the facts, but they lead with parts of their version of the facts, but then spin it off into some different direction and cause more problems than what's needed. You know, the police chief came along and said, "Hey, can we just calm down here? I'm the protesters, you know, all that." Then the next night, bang, more riots, more, you know, all of that. Well, the police chief in Detroit, Michigan has said that crime rates have gone down because of everybody's, you know, law-abiding citizens are armed, you know. So I think the Second Amendment does rule over any state law, state constitution about gun control, period. End of sentence, done. But this is not about my rant on, it's not a rant on my belief of the Second Amendment. It's the fact that people need to get their head out of their ass, look around and say, hey, wait a minute, how can we stop this chaos? Let's pull back, let's look at the information, let's look at the evidence, let's look at everything that is out there and examine everything for what it is, not for what your little feeble, imaginary, cookie-cutter world has deluded you into believing. And that's only the result of the state-run media pushing the propaganda that they push and the narrative that they have. You disagree with me? Great. I want to hear from you. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Lots of things going on today. Lots of news. President Obama, of course, has come back from his vacation. How many does that make in his 6 years of being president? It's just incredible to me that we have a president who really doesn't want to do the job. Now, I have to say this. Mr. President, if you didn't want to do the job and just wanted to golf, why didn't you just go hang around Tiger Woods and be a professional golfer? I'm just saying. If you didn't want to, you know, do what Congress tells you to do, which is the information from the people of the citizens of the United States telling Congress what to do, why are you even in the position that you're in? As Obama goes it alone, special interests gather for smoky backroom deals and you're not invited. IJReview.com has this. President Obama is relegating political decision-making to smoky backroom deals, and you're not invited. According to the New York Times, the president has promised that more unilateral action is forthcoming, and activists and businesses are crowding up to the White House back door in order to see what political privileges are being dispensed, the old gray lady noted. Quote, Mr. Obama's increasingly expansive appetite for the use of unilateral action on issues including immigration, tax policy, and gay rights has emboldened activists and businesses to flock to the administration with their policy wish lists. It also has opened the president, already facing charges of executive overreach, to criticism that he is presiding over an opaque policymaking with the potential to reward political backers at the expense of other interests, including some on the losing side who are threatening to sue, unquote. Various groups have been invited to the White House to give their views completely in private and invisible to the press, Congress, and the nation. Favored progressive constituencies are helping the administration decide among themselves what the standards will be on the biggest issues facing our country. The New York Times, Julie Hirschfeld Davis, spared the niceties and called this deal-making out for what it is. Quote, policy made behind closed doors as Obama acts alone. As President Obama increasingly turns to unilateral action, activists and businesses are coming forward with wish lists. I forgot to turn down my phone, folks. And there are three huge problems with this practice. One, dangerous precedent. Lawmaking cannot be about, quote, our guy getting to do what he wants, unquote, because today's our guy isn't always going to be there. Be careful what you wish for, as the next our guy may be writing policy with which you may vehemently disagree. Number two, concentrated power. Historically, concentrated power. There's a period after that. Historically, the administrative branch executes policy voted on in Congress. 535 elected representatives hash out details and necessary compromises. The genius of the constitutionally mandated process ensures that change is slow and difficult. As a result, power is dispersed. Policies created and implemented by the executive branch are not subject to such control. Number three, corruption and cronyism. Imagine what would have to be done, or whom one would have to know in order to be invited to give one's views. Once invited, the opportunity for self-dealing is massive. Paybacks and kickbacks and playing field tilting would be the rule. And imagine not being one invited. You are out. Lord Acton pointed out, quote, and remember, where you have a concentration of power in a few hands, all too frequently men with the mentality of gangsters get control. History has proven that. All power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, unquote. Is this the kind of government we want, regardless of the political perspective? Regardless of your political perspective, this is not what our country's founders intended, and with a little bit of reflection, hopefully not what its current citizens want as well. The way that I see this from my perspective is, we got a huge problem. We have a dictator in the making. In Barack Obama. That's all there is to it. TheBlaze.com, more than a dozen witnesses have corroborated Officer Darren Wilson's version of Ferguson's shooting. There you go. I talked about it a little while ago. I'm not here to really tell you anything, and I'm not here as far as taking sides is concerned, because I'm on the side of justice, I'm on the side of truth, I'm on the side of facts. Let's get our heads out of our butts, let's stop rioting, let's look at the information provided, and then decide. And if the verdict out of the courts later on is not what you want, then you must react accordingly. And that's operative word there is react, because that is what is happening right now. The visceral emotional reaction of something this catastrophic and this tragic is evident in what you see in Ferguson, Missouri. Now, if it was a white on white, if it was a black cop on a black kid, or an Asian on a Mexican, or whatever, you wouldn't even hear one word in the news about it. You wouldn't. We wouldn't be talking about this. It's only because it was a white cop doing his job and protecting himself from somebody who thought that they could take on a cop. That's the picture that is painted in most of the evidence provided. I'm not taking sides on this. And the facts are the facts, period. Say what you want, disagree as much as you want, but the facts are the facts, period. Okay? I find it incredibly odd, and it's just me, I guess, that people can't look at the facts. From Brian D. Lang over at LiveTruthRadio.com, he put up an article from AmericanThinker.com. Articles, Barack Obama and the Strategy of Manufactured Crisis. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Being sarcastic, folks. James Simpson at theamericanthinker.com wrote this. Thank you, James. America waits with bated breath while Washington struggles to bring U.S. economy back from the brink of disaster. By the way, let me tell you when this was written. I'll tell you after I read it a little more. America waits with bated breath while Washington struggles to bring the U.S. economy back from the brink of disaster. But many of those same politicians caused the crisis, and if left to their own devices, will do soon again. Despite the mass media news blackout, a series of books, talk radio, and the blogosphere have managed to expose Barack Obama's connection to this radical mentors, Weather Underground bombers William Ayers and Bernardine Dorn, Communist Party member Frank Marshall Davis, and others. David Horowitz, his DiscoverTheNetworks.org have also contributed to the wealth of information and have noted Obama's radical connections since the beginning. Yet no one, to my knowledge, to James Simpson's knowledge, at AmericanThinker.com, has yet connected all the dots between Barack Obama and the radical left. I think by now they have. When seen together, the influences of Obama's life comprise a who's who of the radical leftist movement, and it becomes painfully apparent that not only is Obama a willing participant in that movement, he has spent most of his adult life deeply immersed in it. But even this doesn't fully describe the extreme nature of this candidate. He can be tied directly to a malevolent, overarching strategy that has motivated many, if not all, of the most destructive radical leftist organizations in the United States since the 1960s. Folks, this article by James Simpson in theamericanthinker.com was written the 28th of September 2008. It's up on Free America Radio on Facebook. You can read the rest of it there. I cannot and will not spend my time trying to prove to anyone that I'm right. I have the facts, I have the truth, there it is in front of you. I put it out in front of you in full view and expect nothing in return. But I know full well in my heart that at any given moment somebody is going to tell me I'm wrong without providing the proof. So I refuse to deal with numbnuts like that, and I refuse to deal with people who are ignorant to the nth degree, because the truth and the facts are in your face as well. You're just not accepting it. It's the bottom line. So I'm going to go to break here, calm down a little bit, and I shall return. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. The Wayne S. Pierce Show, the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com is the website. FreeAmericaRadio.us is the other one. Free America Radio at USA.com. I shall return right after this.
Train, start 'em up.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razor Blade Express with Dave the Rave.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
There's only one man that has accomplished everything that he has set out to do. That man is Chris Top. The Chris Top Program on Spreaker.com. Listen to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. Hey folks, welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 19th of August 2014. How y'all doing today? Are you alive? Are you well? Are you walking? Okay, cool. So many things are, how can I put this? So many things have transpired within the last 24 hours that it makes you wonder where the mentality of some of these people are. Not only from Washington, D.C., but on the streets. You know, the state-run media says that, nobody's getting attacked and blah, 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 blah. Well, there's a... There's a video up on Free America Radio. Actually, let me go put it up there. A little preview of what's coming up today. I think it's already up there, but if it's not, you'll see it twice. It's no big deal. But Jakari Jackson at Infowars.com shows exactly the police attacking the media. In other words, the controllers don't want any of the news to get out, don't want any of the facts to get out, don't want any of the story to be contradicting their narrative. Okay? I mean, it's just that plain and simple. I don't know why anybody doesn't want the truth. Too many people are stuck on stupid. Okay? Too many people are stuck on stupid. And the facts elude them because, well, let me rephrase that. The facts are there staring them in the face, but these people who are stuck on stupid don't really care about the facts. How can you say that, man? Very directly, that's how I can say it. I don't pull any punches. I said that last year, and I'm going to continue not to pull any punches, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about certain things personally. I'm going to tell you what the state-run media is telling you, and I'm going to point out and prove to you that it's all lies. And if I get harsh and rash and start calling people names, I'm not the one with the problem. Are you offended by what I say? Go have a nice day elsewhere. But I'm going to tell it like it is. And I literally have I literally have decided that I've had enough of the bull crap. That is why I look at the truth, I look at the facts, and there it is. Now, friends of mine can say, well, I disagree with you because I have facts too. No, you don't. You never have and you never will. Because, number one, you're not proving that you have facts. Number two, anything that you say that contradicts anything that I say is never going to come to fruition because, refer to number one, you don't have the information to back up what you say. Never, ever, and you never will because you don't want to. There's people out there that want to know the truth, that want to know the facts, that need to know what the real story is. I do the best I can. I give you my views and opinions and what's going on, but I can back up everything I say, and if I can't at that moment, I go and get the information and show it to you later. But anybody, I don't care who you are, if you disagree with Glenn Beck or Alex Jones or Mark Levin or Michael Savage or Nick Tucker or Pete Santilli or anybody, if you don't have the information to back it up, you ain't got squat. This is why, and this leads me into this. You've got people, as I said in the first segment, you've got people who are viscerally reacting to something that has been, well, pretty much the state-run media has, reported on this kind of stuff and spread and spun their propaganda in such a way to where it led to emotional reactions. Period. I don't give a crap what you say. That's the way it is. Because it's right out there in front of your face. And if you're not going to see it, then, have a nice day. Enjoy your riots. Enjoy your sensationalism. Because, there's already been reporters out there showing the peaceful people, telling others, hey, we don't need this. Go, trying to dispel all of this. Trying to, make sure that everybody's okay. And I saw videos of cops being handed water by just citizens off the street. I mean, come on. The state-run media is never going to tell you the truth. Never, ever, 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 ever in a million years. They're never going to tell you the truth. And Comcast and Time Warner, if they come together, you're never going to see the light of facts anywhere because they're two of the biggest propaganda machines in the country. So you're never going to get the truth or the facts. Ever. You're going to have to open your eyes. Well, first you have to take your head out of your ass, then clean your eyes out from all the crap you've been putting into it. Then go out and look for yourself. Do I know it all? No. I don't claim to know it all. Do I have all the information lined up and put together in such a way to where the facts are going to be seen? I do the best I can to do just that. And as much as I see at this point, you're never going to get the truth or the facts from the state-run media. You're never going to get the truth and the facts from the government ever at all. You're never, ever going to do it. It's never going to happen. You're never going to see it. So when you go to any of the alternative independent media sources and you look for the facts and the truth, you can discern what you believe yourself. That's just the way it is. I can't twist your arm, throw you on the ground, and tell you to believe what I believe. Tell you to see what it is that I'm seeing. No. I'm showing you, hey, here's a roadmap. I cannot tell you what exit to get off of. You're going to have to decide that on your own. But here's a roadmap to where you're going. So, think about that one. It's amazing to me that so many people are not wanting to know the truth and the facts. But when they do, man, their eyes are open and they're just like, holy crap, we now know what's behind the curtain of this propaganda. Okay. I know what I know, and I try to piece it together and bring you the pieces to you to show you what's going on, and I would hope that you would go out and find additional pieces to put the puzzle together. That's all. And I say it all the time. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, and even if you disagree with me, please email me and let me know. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Send me the info you have. Free America Radio on Facebook. Let me go there now, give you a little preview of what's coming up on the Views Expressed live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Yes, I did. I put an article up there twice, so let me delete one of them. If it will be deleted, yes, it was. But connect the dots and you'll see the war on the poor and the working families and why. There is a video there, 2 minutes and 26 seconds. You might want to take a gander at that one. I mentioned this yesterday on the Views Expressed. Google Maps has been tracking your every move, and there's a website to prove it. So check that out. It's only on the iPhone, by the way. It's not on the Android. But give it time. They'll have one there, too. Let's go over to, I am. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to go to Drudge Report. Reporter, more than a dozen witnesses confirm Ferguson cop's version of shooting. Michael Brown rushed officer. Report, cop suffered orbital blowout fracture to eye socket. Investigation could take months. Militant protesters growing in number, many coming from out of state. Can you say the new Black Panther Party? Can you say anybody that wants to divide create a racial divide in a city that doesn't need it? Protester lofts ISIS sign, behind a CNN reporter. Dead teen's grandfather to Obama. I voted for you, so come meet me. Buchanan, 1960s-like riots could cause voter rebuke for president. Kurtz, some liberal outlets creating almost lynch mob mentality. MSNBC crew hit with rocks during live coverage. And Trayvon Martin's mom, quote, "We will make them feel us," unquote. I don't even have to go there, folks. You already have it in your mind. I'm not even going to perpetuate your thought on that. Report, Missouri's thunderstruck governor helped over-militarize Ferguson cops. More reporters rounded up. Police vowed to continue arrests. And FBI blankets scene. Can you say agent provocateurs? They're wanting martial law, people. Get your head out of your ass and start seeing this. This little incident in Ferguson, Arizona is just the start. It's one of many things that have happened in the last 5 or 6 years of this jackass's presidency, and you are worshiping him like a freaking god. Get your head out of your ass and start seeing what's going on around you. But, no. Shut your pie hole, moron. You have no idea what you're talking about. Told you I was going to be harsh. And I make no apologies for the things that I say. And if I say them in such a way to where they offend you, I'm doing my job. But you have to understand what is going on. You can be offended for so long until you're that feeling of, wait a minute, I'm offended, I need to do something. But you better be on the right side. You better be on the side that wants peace, freedom, and security for this nation. If not, it's not going to be a good day for you, is it? Because there are going to be people out there that are going to look at you and just run you over like a freaking steamroller because you're for this president, you're for this regime, you're for martial law, you're for militarization of the law enforcement personnel in your city. Well, you are a freaking moron. Yeah, I'm harsh. I continue to be, too. I try to keep that anger and that frustration within me, but sometimes I just got to get it out. I could rant and rave and yell and scream, but it's not going to make any difference. Islamic State message to America: we will drown all of you in blood. There you go, Mr. and Mrs. America. Baghdad from Reuters 15 hours ago. The Islamic State militant group that has seized large parts of Iraq and drawn the first American airstrikes since the end of the occupation in 2011 has warned the United States it will attack Americans in any place, that is in quotes, if the raids hit its militants. The video, which shows a photograph of an American who was beheaded during the U.S. occupation of Iraq and victims of snipers, featured a statement which said in English, quote, "We will drown all of you in blood," unquote. U.S. airstrikes in northern Iraq have helped Kurdish fighters take back some territory captured by the Islamic State militants, who have threatened to march on Baghdad. The latest advance of the Islamic State, an Al-Qaeda offshoot. Al-Qaeda was funded by the FBI, CIA. Go check it out. Don't believe me. Go check it out yourself. The latest advance of the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda offshoot sent tens of thousands of members of the Yazidi, the ethnic minority, and Christians fleeing for their lives and alarmed the Baghdad government and its Western allies. Unlike Al-Qaeda, Islamic State has so far focused on seizing land in Iraq and Syria for its self-proclaimed caliphate, not spectacular attacks on Western targets. U.S. President Barack Obama said at a news conference on Monday that the Islamic State posed a threat to Iraq and the entire region. The story was refiled in this particular section of Yahoo News to remove references to airstrikes on Kurdish fighters. So, yeah, folks, I'm going to say it again. Get your head out of your butt. Militants encourage Ferguson protesters to embrace Islamic extremism. Shall I say it again? From dailymail.co.uk. How is democracy treating you guys? Unquote. Quote it. That's a quote. How is democracy treating you guys? ISIS militants take to social media to encourage Ferguson protesters to embrace Islamic extremism. ISIS supporters urge Ferguson demonstrators to embrace radical Islam, use social media to stir up racial hatred and encourage yet more violence. Militants urge ISIS sympathizers in U.S. to travel to Ferguson to join protest. News comes as image appears to show demonstrator holding ISIS banner. Man was seen holding an ISIS is here placard on purported CNN footage. Chilling developments come on ninth night of violent protest in Ferguson following the shooting by police of unarmed teenager Michael Brown. ISIS militants and their supporters are using social media to encourage protesters in Ferguson to embrace radical Islam and fight against the U.S. government. Jihadists in Syria and Iraq and their sympathizers in the West have taken to Twitter to send messages of support to hundreds of demonstrators taking part in the ninth night of angry protest of the U.S. city following the shooting by police of an unarmed black teenager, Michael Brown. The militants' tweets denounce local officers for the way they have attempted to quell the violence, make a reference to historic acts of police brutality, and even use the hashtag Ferguson under ISIS in an attempt to get angry young men in the city to declare allegiance to the Islamic group. The news comes as footage purported taken from a scene of the Ferguson protest appeared to show one demonstrator marching along the street holding a sign reading, "ISIS is here." I'm going to put that up on the Free America Radio Facebook page for all you to see for yourself. Now, I've been accused of presuming that people are not awake and aware of what's going on. Well, let me tell you something. I know this. I know that people are awake and aware of what's going on. I know that people are fully frustrated and pissed off at what is happening. But I live here in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, and I don't see hundreds of people out in the streets protesting this government. Why? Because people are cowards. Every single last one of those people that say to me or to others like me, "You assume that people aren't awake." I don't see them out in the street. I don't see them with signs. I don't see them on the overpasses over here, on the walking paths or the highway overpasses. What? Do you think I just sit here and make this stuff up? No, I go downtown almost every day. We're out every weekend, and I don't see one person with a sign out there protesting what is happening with this government, whatever it is they want to protest. I don't see it. But what I see and what I saw last summer, and I have video footage of this as well, was a whole bunch of most of them were probably illegal. I don't know. I can't verify that, but there was 20 or 30 people down on Virginia Street here protesting immigration. They wanted amnesty is what they wanted. I found that out later on. Just by looking at all these types of groups all over the United States, I looked at them, what is their motivation, how are they doing this, what are they doing? It's like a freaking script that they're following. And one of the reporters or one of the people that was there in their group put a camera on me and said, I said, "Well, hey, you guys are doing really good. You're protesting. This is great." And she put the camera on me and she goes, "What's your name and what do you think?" And I told her my name. And I said, "I'm for legal immigration." And I emphasized the word legal. And guess what? Camera went off of me and she went away. Put two and two together, folks. That's probably happening in some parts of the United States and some cities in your area. Well, let me tell you something. We're falling apart because you're not getting involved. We're collapsing because there's not enough people out there accepting the truth with the facts and doing what they have to do to protect this country. At least not enough of you anyway. I don't see anybody down here in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, coming from Lake Tahoe or Carson City or anywhere to protest what is happening in this country. I don't see the state capital here in Nevada is Carson City. That's like 35 miles away south of us. I don't see anybody down there. I don't hear any local news about protesters. Well, maybe I should take a sign and stand down by the state capitol with a big giant red circle with a line through it with Harry Reid's picture on it. Wonder how that would fare well with those politicians in that building. Oh, if I stood down there with a sign with a big red circle with a line through it with Monsanto underneath of it, I probably wouldn't get harassed at all. But if I held up a sign with a big circle with a red line through it with Obama's picture in it, oh my God, I'd be called a racist. Which I'm not. I have friends of every race, creed, and religion that you can think of. But no. I don't see people out there. I see people in Ferguson, Missouri, co-opted by outside groups to divide that community racially and not look at the facts and not look at the truth and not seek any of those things to make it a rational decision about what can and cannot be done. It's amazing, folks. I don't. It's amazing. It's just amazing how I'm seeing people totally, hey, fire it up, let's go do this. And then when something happens, they're like running like scared freaking rabbits. I said it before and I'll say it again. We need to protect the borders of this state. And if there are those in Reno, Nevada, in Lake Tahoe, Nevada, in Carson City, anywhere between here and the southern border of Nevada, let's pack it up and go. Let's make our presence known down there. Okay? But these people just want to come from a really crappy country and want freedom and liberty and all that. They can fight for it down there. And if they haven't fought to defend their personal rights in their country, then they're doing something wrong. It took 3% of the new colonists of America back in 1775 to get fully fed up with the bullcrap coming out of England. And they said, no, we've had enough. And the British Army, under orders from the British government, said, well, we're going to come take your guns. And the Americans that were here, the people, the colonists that were here went, no, you're not. And there you go. So how come I don't see 3% of the population of Nevada down at the southern border keeping out the criminals? Why? Because you're all freaking wimps. That's why. Because you don't have any balls. That's why. Let's go. Let's do it. You got a truck? Let's go. Let's pack it up. Let's go. Let's make it happen. But we have to defend this country from enemies foreign and domestic. And if that means we have to defend our own personal lives from the tyranny and the dictatorship coming out of Washington, D.C., then that's exactly what we're going to do. Because it is our God-given right to have freedom and liberty in this country and in ourselves and in our own personal lives. And if the jackasses in Washington, D.C. want something opposite of that, we're going to have a problem. This whole thing can be stopped by getting government out of our lives. Period. That's just the way it is. The states can handle the government because the states have their own 3 branches of government and they're doing quite well. We don't need Washington, D.C. We don't. But I getting a little frustrated here. Come join me on the Views Express Live, and hopefully I'm not so frustrated. 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Free America Radio Network on Spreaker.com and on freeamericaradio.us. Email me, please. I want to know. Put in the subject line radio. Email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Go to freeamericaradio.us for more information, or go to thewaynespearceshow.weebly.com. Thank you very much. We'll talk later.